This
All right,
conference
thank
will
you.
now be recorded.
So let me share my screen.
Sure.
So welcome to the demonstration session, initial first session of UK payroll. So today we'll be
Okay.
covering the initial. First of all, I will be having today we'll be talking more about the payroll processes, and later on I'll just taking you the system. What are the things are there, and from an UK payroll point of view, what are the things we'll be covering in subsequent sessions. Okay. So today's agenda will be like more of the initial 10-15 minutes. So we'll be understanding each other, and we'll be also having those what is your aspirations regarding understanding of what are the key areas, what is the background. Okay. So then a little bit of I'll also explain my background and a little bit of what are the areas of my interest and how the payroll I actually have been working so long. So I'll just explain that. Then we'll be starting the process. So just today we'll be focusing on the more on process. Then a little bit towards the end, I'll be taking you through the system. Okay. So please go ahead, Rahul. Just let me know your background and all, what all expectations and all, so that I
Okay.
can do
So
a yeah.
yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I've got about 10 years of HCM experience, and I've
Mm-hmm.
got experience running payroll as well. But
Mm-hmm.
what I want to learn is to actually how to read the payroll log, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to sort of understand how all of the wage types sort of come into payroll and how the
Mm-hmm.
calculations occur.
Mm-hmm.
Need an understanding of schemas, then
Mm-hmm.
need an understanding of the functions, and then the PCRs.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that.
Okay. Okay.
So this is what
So
I'm wanting out of the sessions. So
yeah.
with my experience,
Hmm.
so I don't have any experience in the UK payroll. I only have
Okay.
experience in the Australian payroll. So are you able to
Okay.
tell me how different it is from the UK payroll? Unless
Okay.
if you don't know, then that's okay.
Australian payroll, yes, I also worked on that. So I will just let you know. I will tell you all those details. Okay. But having said that, you have worked on SAP payroll or any other vendor payroll you have worked?
SAP,
Any other product? SAP Australia payroll only, right?
correct.
Uh, Correct. Okay.
But
Then
now
yeah,
there's a
so that is fine.
requirement for me to actually work
Hmm.
on SAP UK payroll.
Okay. Okay. So when I say is your SAP Australian payroll, you
Yeah,
have worked as a more of as a consulting side
end
or as
user,
an end
more
user
of
side.
a
Okay. Just
more of an end user. But
okay.
I'm
Okay. Because that. Hmm,
comfortable with understanding pro
hmm,
transports
hmm.
and all of the things that come with it, and comfortable
Hmm.
with master data and things like that.
Okay, I got your point, Rahul. So basically, what I will do, I will cater to that as well. So now I understood your where you are coming from and what is the background and all. So it's great to know that you have at least those fundamental end user, the front end, because people who are coming from purely from who do not have any background of SAP. Generally, I take another additional sessions to just catch up to make them understand SAP screens and all. So that I think
No, no,
for
no, we
you
don't
that
need
will
to
not
do
be
that.
required. So for
No.
you, I
Sorry, you
think though
didn't
I need.
introduce yourself. What's your name?
I will do that. I will do that. I will do that. Just a
Yeah,
minute. So to explain myself, Niladri here. So I have been having total 10 plus years same experience in SAP HCM payroll and success factor. Currently, I have
hmm,
worked mostly in almost more than 10 plus countries payroll, including UK, Australia, US, Canada, Indian payroll. Currently, mostly
sure.
these days, I'm working on Middle East, all those countries payroll, and primarily currently I'm focusing also the giving training on EC payroll, Employee Central payroll and all. And having my background, I myself is a BTech and MBA in HR, and
Sure.
total, as I was mentioning, 10 plus years experience. And even my research thesis was also on the payroll. Okay, so if you see, if you
Okay.
simply Google it in the, let's just typing if SAP HR payroll and by my name, simply search ResearchGate. Okay, so you'll be finding my
Sure.
citations, all those, that paper. It is more than 300, 3,350 reads now as of today's date, as on today's date. Okay, so that you'll be easily finding, but that will be more of focus on the Indian payroll, but you will be understanding 50% of the content that is freely available that you can directly, I made it open anyone can download that content from the ResearchGate site. Okay, so that is publicly available, which you can download at. That is my background from an SAP perspective, mostly because payroll is actually my passionate, because no other modules is not that much stringent or that much complicated, or because at the end of the day it is the employee's salary. Okay, so also a lot of complexities are involved, and so that it is always in demand. So when it comes to job
Absolutely.
perspective, or so whether you are like, if you are already having Australian payroll background, I will appreciate that you will be having certain, because you're having one country payroll, then you're learning another payroll, then it will be little advantage. Okay, so
Yeah,
because in the
definitely.
market you'll be having multiple options, so you should always keep the options open. Okay, so like learning
Yeah.
something new. That's a, I first of all I congratulate you for joining this session, and I'll be taking you through the entire journey. Okay, so for those
Sure.
whatever the Australian
So
payroll was very.
we have
Hmm.
another person on the call, Shan. Are you able to
Yeah,
introduce him, or is Shan going to introduce himself?
sir, you're going to introduce yourself. Hello. Actually, he is taking care of the entire training coordination activities, but I will be your
Okay.
trainer only. Okay, I'll
So
be
you're
training
the
you.
trainer, and he's the training administrator.
Administrator, he'll be taking care of all the follow-up with, okay, all these recordings and all, whatever the recording and all those things will be happening from to him. Okay, so my role will be more with training, end-to-end training I'll be giving for your UK payroll, all of your doubt clearance and the setting of this WebEx, all these meetings. Actually, he'll be taking care. Okay, so in case
Okay.
you're facing any challenges and all,
Just
that is his
yeah.
role, just to make you understand. Okay, and
Hmm.
also the recorded
So the
videos
phone
also
number
he'll
that
be
I'm contacting whoever on, who is that? Is that Shan or is that you?
he is a son only. Yeah, you directly reached out to him, and he will be connecting with me. Actually, he just
Okay.
today only he
So,
reached out to me. Okay, so I
no
thought of,
worries.
yeah,
Okay.
I was available, so I thought of taking the session the rest anytime. So I just
No,
agreed
that's
to
okay.
take off.
I just wanted to understand who's who
Yeah,
and who I'm
yeah,
contacting via WhatsApp. So I need to understand that. Yeah.
sure,
Okay.
sure, sure. So currently you are based out in UK only, or in Australia?
No, in Australia.
Australia. Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
good, good. Okay. So having said that, let's get started then. Okay.
Yeah.
So So first of all, I'm actually focusing on the process, because unless and until you understand the process, as you are already aware of, so it will not take much time. And to what I will do, this learning in journey in such a way, I will make you understand the core things. I will focus on the more core on the core thing, because understanding schemas, understanding those PCRs is a one-time investment. So if you're learning for some countries, if you're then you are suppose tomorrow you'll be learning for say Canada payroll or US payroll or Indian payroll, then it will be much easier for you. Okay, so I've designed the curriculum in such a way it will be an easy approach. The guided journey will be helping you to understand the process in such a way you can replicate the same thing maybe in the future, and whenever you're learning for another country. So it will not be you will not be finding you can read it yourself with or minimal help. You can go for other countries' payroll as well. So I have designed.
Sure,
So
sure, sure.
today we'll be
Yeah.
focusing more on the process side. Hmm. Any questions do you have, Rahul?
No, understood. Yeah.
Till
Please go ahead.
uh, okay. So when it comes to the process, so I'll be just telling you any kind of payroll. It is not only for UK payroll. So so you just before I start, you just let me tell me what kind of whenever you are working for a payroll, what are the activities you generally do in a typical. Just a layman. I do not want any perfect answer. You just tell me what are the activities generally you do in a typical month.
While working in payroll as an end user, you're talking about?
End user, exactly. I am looking for an end user only. So as an end user,
Yeah.
what
So
are the typical
basically, when a
activities?
person joins, you basically put them onto the system. Then overnight or
Mm-hmm,
during the day, you run the payroll, you run a test payroll. And after running the test
mm-hmm,
payroll, if there are any errors, you basically investigate where
mm-hmm,
those errors are. And once you're
mm-hmm,
happy and when you're ready to run payroll, you basically go ahead and lock payroll and run it. And
mm-hmm,
from there, you do your postings, etc., pay your superannuation and things like that. And when
mm-hmm.
you're done with the post payroll activities, you just roll it into the next pay period.
Exactly, exactly. So this is the end-to-end cycle you have already explained. So that entire cycle which you have explained, that you have not told like it is Australia or UK, it is generic one. So whatever
Correct.
countries you work for, that's the generic process. So from that perspective, whatever, now I'll be taking your words only. So I will just put them into 4 different buckets. Okay. So like as you have mentioned, you are hired employee and you maintain those data. Okay. So that out of this 4 box which you can see in your screen, say pre-payroll, run payroll, post-payroll, and the periodical activities. The first,
Yeah.
so whenever you're hiring an employee, okay, all those master data, all those identity details, country-specific statutory tax details, okay, those information we are maintaining in a SAP in suppose a particular so and so info types. Okay, so those activities generally we map it on the pre-payroll. Okay, so that is understanding of a pre-payroll. Then once your data is ready, as you have already mentioned, like you will be running a test run. You will be running a test run. Then once you're happy with your test run, you will be going for a actual payroll run, or it is a live payroll run. Okay, so that will be those activities. So those set of activities will be coming under run payroll bucket. Okay, so this bucket are nothing but, for me, from a process perspective, these are called your bigger process or process group, you can say. Okay, under each process group, we will be in the subsequent slides, I will tell you what are the key process, and you can relate to it. Like whenever you are performing those activities, I want this session to be more interactive, so that you will be also telling like for which activities you have done or which you have not done. Okay, so just I want session to be more interactive. Okay, so second one is the run payroll. So run payroll comprises of your both your test or simulation run as well as your production payroll run. Okay, so what is next? So once your production payroll is done, everything is employee got his pay slip and everything. So what we generally, so before I'm not before the pay slip, so there is another activity. Generally, we do the posting, the finance posting. Okay, so all those
Yeah, I'm
simulation posting
comfortable
as
with
well
all
as,
that. No problems. Yeah.
you're saying something, Rahul?
I was saying I'm comfortable with it, so that's okay.
Okay,
We don't
okay,
need
that's fine.
to go
Okay,
deep
okay,
into this because
okay, sure, sure. Then
yeah, I don't want you to
uh,
unnecessarily waste your breath on this when I'm
okay.
comfortable with it. So yeah.
No problem, no problem. So this is the post payroll activities. Then once it is done, all the statutory activities on the day-to-day basis, you have to report to something. You have to send some documents or send those some statutory documents to those authorities, tax authorities, and all filing of those files. Okay, so that we do under the last bucket, that is the periodical activities. So these are the 4 main process groups we covered. And I will just ask you, like, if you're familiar, you must be familiar about it. So now I'll be just quickly take you through those pre-payroll. So pre-payroll means these are the different activities. You must have done this, right? This
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
just check. Tell me if you are not familiar with any of this thing. Just let me know. Out
No,
of
no, no.
6 buckets,
It's all clear. That's not a problem.
uh,
Yeah, it's
pre-payroll, these
fine.
are the 6 activities you will be going through. So, okay, so this is the one. And similarly, the next one that will be like your initiating the payroll period. So this one also you must be aware of. Like as
Of
an
course.
HR administrator or a payroll administrator, you'll be doing these activities, pay checking the payroll calendar, communicating the dates. Okay, all this activity you must be
100%.
doing.
Yeah.
So I will take you through just quickly, and then similarly the manage master data. So this is nothing but the left hand side. You'll be seeing all those employee events. Okay, like it can be a transfer, it can be promotion, it can be hiring, it can be termination. So all those different actions will be running, and accordingly you will be having those respective info types will be getting updated, and you will be then checking those reports and all. Okay, so all those things you will be finding, but this slide you will be finding little different. So there is a violet color. Did you observe that is a violet color? And actually I have made some changes. I've done some highlighted something.
Mhm.
Actually, have you ever done that, or how is your understanding in this? Just I'll zoom it for your better visualization. Check data replication status. Have you ever done, or request data correction, EC mess up and all? I think this
So
must be
when
new
you
for you.
say check data replication status,
Hmm.
what do you mean by that?
Okay, so I was expecting this question from you only, because what I have done, so this entire process diagram which I have done, I have keeping in mind with the success factor employee central payroll. Okay, so
Okay.
what I have done, so in maybe you are not at present, you are not using it, maybe in the future, because that is the future of any country's
Sure.
payroll. In success, if you are in a today, suppose today you are learning SAP payroll, maybe tomorrow or maybe after down the line 2 years, you will be definitely going for this kind of. So for that reason, I kept it in mind. So what happens in a typical payroll, whenever you are capturing all this information, okay, so like employee data, all those employee personal information, job information, all this payroll related information. So what happens in a typical success factor scenario, so like EC and EC payroll, so those are two different systems, and whatever the data, okay, you are bringing into employee central system, that gets replicated in your employee central payroll. Okay, so for that reason,
Yes.
we have a concept called data replication. Okay, there is a program. So data replication, by simple layman language, it is a program which is scheduled, and every say every 15 minutes or 30 minutes or every day. So what it will do, it will just capture. Suppose today date, say today is the 6th of August here in India, and you are having say hired say 20 employees, okay, in Employee Central, or you have hired in them in your EC system, or okay, so those data will be moving or replicated to your Employee Central payroll system. So how they will be moving? So in this diagram, you will be seeing, so there is something called data replication. Once those data have been replicated, if there is no error, so in this box, it will check those data replication status. If it is successful, then actually your all those employees detailed data, okay, it will come and it will sit in your Employee Central payroll. Okay, so once it is done, so then the remaining data, so it can be text related data. So I just made this slide little generic. Okay, so it is not specific to any country payroll. Just from an future perspective, I kept this slide, and there are certain things which may not be applicable, like garnishment and social security. This is a US specific. Okay, so just today's session actually more of a generic one. Maybe in the next session onwards, I'll be more specific to a UK payroll. Okay, just a today's understanding. But this is the overall understanding how you can manage a master data for payroll. Generally, at present, you are doing in an on-premise. That is very simple one. Just you are maintaining a info type by manually, or you must have uploading by using some data import programs or LSMW or BDC. Okay, you might have used all those. Have you ever used all
Yeah.
those stuff, LSMW or BDCs?
Yeah. I'm comfortable with that.
Comfortable, right?
LSMWs.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. So you might have used those. So those are the process specific to manage master data for payroll. Okay, so this is the process, overall process for managing a master data for payroll. Similarly, so it may require you in a typical scenario. So you may have to, some external data also is required. Can you just give me an example where exactly you require some kind of additional export, import, or additional outside third-party system data? Can you just give me one example where exactly you can, you might, if you have used in your
Well, you
from your.
could be getting third-party data from a time management system where
Mhm.
times of an employee might be coming in, and obviously using that SAP payroll is doing positive time evaluation for
Mhm.
timesheets, etc. So yeah,
Mhm.
third-party data can be coming in.
Exactly. So you have means you have a good experience exposure to that as well. So like you are absolutely correct. So you can have third party outside the system. It can be Chronos, it can be Workforce, or any other third
Yes.
party time vendors. Okay, so which can be integrated with your SAP, and those data, or it can be CATs, cross application time sit. All those time sit data come and sit into our payroll. Okay, so those are
Hmm.
the different types of examples. You're absolutely correct. So how payroll also can handle both your import. We can import those external data. Okay, there is specific process for that. But this process with the diagram which I have given, this is from a success factor point of view, success factor EC payroll point of view. Okay, but it will be you suppose if you're working in an on-premise payroll only, the process will be a little simpler. Okay, so like
Yeah,
you will not be
so I'm
finding
on
there.
on-premise itself, ECC6.
On-premise it
So
is
yeah,
simple.
yeah,
On-premise is simple. Okay. So again, when it comes to EC payroll, because you may require in the future. So for that reason, I kept the slide so that it
100%.
will
That is the way of the
always
future. Yeah.
forward looking. It is why I'm always take my students and participants always look something forward, because these things will be changing, keep on changing. Okay. So always
Hmm.
think forward. So for that reason, I kept instead of putting the on-premise slides which are very old, so I kept it mostly in the success factor specific. So EC payroll. Okay, but
Yeah.
yeah. Similarly, when it comes to a data quality check, what activity generally we do? Suppose somebody is asking to you check the data quality, whether my data is correct, or how. What are the general? You don't see this diagram. So you just can think of like from your own experience, what kind of data quality check you generally do. It can be Excel or it can be something else. Just tell me anything you use, any tool you're using for data quality, or how do you generally do?
Well, you can do data quality via, things like Payroll Control Center, master data validations, and things like that. Or you can, do reporting out of Spinifex and things like that, so you can check the data via that. So there are, other tools that you can use for data quality, and obviously for payroll, etc. You can use wage type reporter to do reconciliations, etc. So all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the answer actually I was looking for. Waste type reporter and the payroll control center. Those are the different tools we have. There are many other tools also available. And there are also people are building their own inbuilt homegrown tools with different tools. But at the end of the day, those are basically programs only. It will check your data and it will validate how much data is correct or is there any deviation. So all those things, what are the alert we can configure in the payroll control center if you're hard about it. So those alert we can so those alerts can be configured in the PCCs and all. Okay. So this is from a perspective of a payroll data quality check point of view. So this is another sub process, okay, which you are already aware of. Similarly, the assigning alert. So this you also must be aware. If you have already used PCC, then you must be aware of this how to assign those payroll alert. All these.
I'm comfortable with all that. That's not
right?
my point of getting training session. My point is one to understand payroll processing, like deep inside, how it's all working through the payroll driver and schemas, and then all of the rules, etc. And in particular, I need to understand the UK payroll. So that's why I don't have experience in that, and I don't know all of the all of the wage type tables, all of the the payroll calculation type tables, etc. So this is what I am wanting out of these. So I'm quite familiar with how to run payroll. I'm familiar with SAP HR. So that's not a problem for me. So that's not my intention.
Then I will not spend much time here. Then directly I will be taking to the system, and I will be taking you to what are the roadmap in the future sessions. Okay. So this slide anyway I'll be sharing with you once you are done. So I will. So these slides you can go through. This is a very generic process. Okay. So this is actually. So
I wanted to ask you, like, obviously you need to have a think about this as well, that as per my current experience and what I'm wanting out of these sessions, how many sessions do you think it'll actually take for you to take me through just the payroll side of things? And I'm not talking about valuation and things like that. I'm only talking about the payroll side of things.
Okay. So it will be as you're already having a background, all those payroll control center and a background of your SAP on-premise, Austria payroll to some extent. So generally people who do not have all those experience, and generally I take all those additional sessions, and that comes around 20 to 25 sessions. But for you, it will be somewhere around 15 to 20 sessions. Okay. So somewhere around between that. Okay. So depending upon your pace and how you learn.
Each session is about an hour. Is that how you class the session? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So who do I need to talk to about the pricing, etc.? So who's the best person to talk to?
You can talk to Sanmukha. I am actually not taking care of that, so you can talk to.
No, absolutely, yeah. That's fine. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. So what else did you want to cover in the demo today?
Okay, so today's demo, let me go to the system. As it is a demo system, I should just let me log into the system, and I will tell you what are the things we'll be exploring in the UK payroll side. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me do that.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So this is your SAP EG Access, which you are already familiar about it. So I'm not spending much time here. Rather, okay, you must be aware of this payroll related, and under you must have selected those Australian payroll, but from an UK payroll perspective, so all of your transactions, all of your day-to-day transaction, it will be under Great Britain. Okay, so it is not called as the United Kingdom. Okay, so just I'll be taking you through those front end. Okay, a little bit. I will not be going through this front end because you're already familiar about it. I'll be spending more time on the. Okay, so this is all your payroll related transactions. Okay, all these transaction related to the payroll. Similarly, the country grouping is that is a 08. okay, for UK. Okay, similarly, you have all of your bank transfer programs, very similar. So only thing is that a middle text will be changing somewhere, but finance posting related transaction remains the same. Okay, and we have also certain programs for specific HR forms. Okay, this one I'll be explaining you whenever I'll be explaining how to configure those payslip, how you design a payslip. Okay, that I will take. Okay, that will be I will take you through. Similarly, the subsequent activities, those payroll result, declustering, okay, all those concepts are there. You have an understanding of declustering, is it? How is it?
Yes, I have an understanding of the declustering.
Declustering, right? Little bit. Okay, okay. We'll deep dive into this. So do not worry. I'll be explaining declustering into length. Okay. So similarly, the different country specific. Now you can see there is a country specific. So what are these things? We'll be exploring in the subsequent session. There are specific reporting for specific to UK. There are specific absence evaluation history. There are specific programs very specific to UK. Okay, so these are wherever you see 08 in the middle. Okay, so those are all because these are all the UK specific transactions. Okay, but we'll be as we're not, these are all end user transactions. But as you are a consultant or as you are be focusing,
yeah, I've never seen. So I'll tell you, I've never seen the UK end user transaction, so I'm not familiar with that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, this system access will be you will be getting, and we'll be going through this one by one. But today I'll be just having an overview. Okay, so this is all of your end user transaction, and it means different. It may happen in one session. We'll be covering say 5 or 6 transactions. Okay, so we'll be understanding the front end, what are the front end transactions, and what are the back end transactions, how those are connected. Okay, this is our understanding. Okay, how those are connected and what is the impact. Whatever you are doing those configurations, how it will be impacting and which all transaction actually the connectivity between your configuration and the front end actions, all this activity transaction, how those are related, we'll be seeing in the subsequent session. This is the front end. Similarly, the all of your backend transaction, those are derived, so those we can run it through SPRO. The same single transaction.
I'm familiar with that.
SPRO. Okay. So just a very quick interesting question. Have you ever queried like what is the meaning of an SPRO? Or you just thought of now it is just a random transaction?
Never thought about it.
Never thought of that, right? Even I did the same whenever I started till my initial days of career. Never till 2 years or 3 years. I was doing SPRO. I was happy, but I never tried to understand what is the meaning. There's a deep meaning of it. SPRO actually S stands for SAP. PRO means actually project reference object. P for project, R for reference, O for object. SAP project reference object. Okay, that is the meaning of an SPRO. And why we have given such SAP has given such a beautiful name? So because this is all the reference, because all the configurations you can see there is a reference, right? SAP reference IMG, IMG information. Okay, so these are actually all these are reference object where exactly we do all the day-to-day configuration, not day-to-day, rather wherever required. During your implementation, you'll be doing on a ongoing basis. Once your implementation is over, on a subsequent basis, as and when required, you will be doing all those configurations. Okay, so this is an understanding how that's why it is called a SPRO. Okay, so generally people do not understand for that reason actually ask this question. So this is an SAP reference IMG. So this is an implementation guide where exactly you can explore. And once you scroll a bit, you will be finding your payroll related configuration bundled together in a single folder. Okay, so we'll be just exploring that. And I will just quickly have an
familiar with that.
Okay, so this is on a payroll related node. And under that, you will be having similarly, we have for UK payroll, we have Great Britain, payroll Great Britain. And these are the list of configurations which you will be having in a UK payroll typically. Okay, and there are certain configurations
so this is exactly
which common
to understand.
Okay. So these are not actually the sequence is not we may not go in the same sequence which SAP has designed. Okay, I will be having from my experience, I'll be explaining the sequence which will be easy to understand. Okay, so I will not be following the same sequence which SAP has given, like SAP has directly given the legacy data transfer. Okay, unless and until you are having those configuration, how we'll be doing legacy data transfer and all. Okay, so I'll be following a different structure.
I understand that you're the guru, so you understand which is the best way to take a user through it.
So I will be taking you through all this configuration. So I will just having a quick glance on it. So basic settings. So basic settings again. So there are certain configurations you will be having only information. Okay, you can see there's only documentation. Say payroll organization, there's a documentation. There is no node here. Okay, What does that mean? So if you go through the documentation, I always prefer to read this documentation during my implementations. Okay, so even if you are following SAP help guide, help.sap.com, it is always better to have the knowledge from here directly. Okay, so you do not have to always go to those during your implementation as well. So you do not have to go and see all these every time. You do not have to go to all these topics. So rather, you have to directly, you can access those things directly from this screen itself. Okay, so all these documents are readily available. Okay, simply you have to just click that, and you will be finding something called performance assistant. So in that you will be finding all those documentations. Okay, so this is from a basic setting point of view. So my sessions, once to the next session, actually I'll be planning to cover little bit of a process side, because unless and until you understand UK payroll, those rules, those tax formats, all those info types, what are those info types, then this configuration I'll be starting maybe in that session number 4th onwards. I'll be starting. Okay, so 4th or 5th session onwards I'll be starting those topics. So in that we'll be trying to understand the concept. You might be already aware of this period parameter date modifier, is it, or how is it?
Sorry, which one?
The period parameter date modifier, do you have a basic understanding, or how is it?
What's inside them? You have to show me, then I might be able to tell you.
Okay. So it is an interesting. So these are easily you can understand. Like if you go to the node.
Yeah, it's payroll, whether it's weekly, fortnightly.
Exactly. So these are payroll period. So I'm having one session for terminology as well as make you understand. Subsequent basis, whenever you will be talking about a particular set of configuration, it may happen. One day I'll be taking this session to cover all this setup, bunch of this payroll based organization specific configurations. Okay, in that I'll be covering each and every topic. Okay, so in this way we will proceed.
So Niladri, with regards to your sessions, whenever I ask you that, look, I'm comfortable with this, let's keep moving. So that's how I want the sessions to run, right?
I'm very much flexible. I'm very much flexible in that.
Yeah, because I don't want to waste your time, and neither do I have too much time as well. So I need to go through this quickly, but at the same time, I need to understand it. So when I say, look, I don't understand this, can you please explain it again? So that's how I want the sessions to run, to be interactive rather than just sitting over here and listening.
Definitely it will be taken care. So generally for that reason, I asked generally in the first session itself, generally I kept the aspiration mapping. So what is your aspiration and your background? So that is will be helpful to customize these things, because it is, we're not taking a batch, like one-on-one we are taking the sessions. Okay.
Exactly. So for that reason, that's all I wanted to clarify as well, that there is no one else joining these sessions, right? It's just one-on-one sessions?
No, it's one-on-one, just a one-on-one. Even I prefer that. So I want
so tell me, what is your availability like? And then because I'm working during the day, but sometimes I have capacity to sort of work from home as well. So so it'll be a little bit ad hoc, the sessions. I can't commit to the same time each day. So I want to understand your availability as well.
So actually this tomorrow actually I'm planning to travel to my home city. So tomorrow is not possible, and maybe in the next week. Next week we can also a little busy, because I have an ongoing session for EC payroll. Another session is going for an onboarding. So that I'll be completing next week. Is it fine after 15th of August? Is it fine for you?
So what's your availability on the weekends?
Weekends again in the morning preferable. It's my morning time approximately. So your timing. So you present you're in which city exactly in Australia?
So I'm in Australia. So the time difference is 4.5 hours. So if you say that you're available at say 9 o'clock, then it'll be 1:30 my time. Okay. So that sort of works as well. So I was thinking, I want to dive into it as quickly as possible. Okay.
Sure.
And I will have a chat to Shan about the pricing, etc. But I wanted to clarify